Now, the Japanese comedian Ken Shimura has died after contracting the coronavirus. The 70-year-old, one of Japan's best-known comedians and the first Japanese celebrity to fall victim to the pandemic. Kari Njoji is in Tokyo with more on this. Obviously, a big shock to Japanese people. Tell us about him and how revered he was.
Absolutely, Michael. The news of the death of Ken Shimura is shocking the nation, and particularly Tokyo, where he was from, especially because he succumbed to COVID-19 just 1 week after he tested positive. As you mentioned, he was a beloved comedian, and there has been an outpouring of grief on the streets of Tokyo, on social media, even from top government officials, which shows how well-loved he was and how far-reaching his popularity was, crossing generations. I mean, you mentioned just the word drifters to any Japanese person, which was the name of his first comedy group back in the 70s, and it would have brought a smile. It brings a smile to everyone's face here in Japan. He started off in a rock group that opened up for the Beatles back in the 1960s, and he has been going strong ever since. So the death of Ken Shimura at the age of 70 has been a tremendous shock to the nation and really a turning point in its fight against COVID-19, Michael.
Yeah, I guess, you know, when you hear of things like that, people of that stature, it really brings it home the reality to people who perhaps weren't taking it quite so seriously. What is the state of the virus in Japan? How widespread the testing? How serious is the government taking, keeping people off the streets?
Well, it does bring it home, and I think people, until around this weekend, around Saturday, people weren't taking COVID-19 as seriously as the government would have liked. I mean, people were out and about enjoying the cherry blossoms, and there was a plea, basically, from the Tokyo governor and the government to please stay at home unless you have to go out, try to work from home. And I think the death of Ken Shimura changes the dynamics of the way the society looks at the coronavirus. Right now, people are on tenterhooks as to whether the government will announce a state of emergency and whether Tokyo too will face a lockdown in the days ahead. The number of cases in Tokyo in particular has been increasing, hitting record levels for about a week now. 68 new cases on Sunday alone, and that may not seem like much in the grand scheme of schemes, but there has been a steady increase, particularly after last Tuesday, when the government decided to postpone the Olympics. And I think the tone from the government has changed dramatically since then. In the run-up to this, they were being criticized for being slow to respond with travel restrictions, slow to test, but I think that mood has changed dramatically over the last 2 or 3 days.